In this video, I'll explain how ancient Greece began, grew, and continues to influence the world today. You'll learn how the Greeks built cities, fought wars, philosophized, and why their legacy remains unforgettable. Thousands of years ago, the first people lived on the islands and mountains of Greece. They hunted, fished, and built simple huts. Later, they learned to grow grain and raise animals. This is how the first small villages came into being. The Minoans lived on the island of Crete, a people with great ideas. They built huge palaces like the one at Knossos with colorful walls. They loved art and trade with other countries. Around 1450 before Christ, their culture suddenly disappeared, maybe due to a volcanic eruption. The Mycenaeans lived on the mainland and were strong warriors. They built powerful fortresses with thick walls like in Mycenae. They wrote on clay tablets and often fought their neighbors. Around 1200 before Christ, their era ended for unknown reasons. After the Mycenaeans, Greece became quiet and difficult. Many cities were destroyed, and people lived more simply. There was less trade and writing, and everything seemed to stop. But slowly, the land recovered again. The Greeks began building small cities called polis. Each polis was like its own country with its own rules. Athens and Sparta became the most famous ones. People felt a deep connection to their city. The Greeks believed in many gods, like Zeus, the god of the sky, or Poseidon, the god of the sea. They thought the gods lived on Mount Olympus and influenced their lives. In temples, they prayed and offered gifts. Stories of gods and heroes were told everywhere. A poet named Homer wrote two famous stories, the Iliad and the Odyssey. The Iliad tells of the Trojan War, the Odyssey of Odysseus' long journey home. Whether Homer really existed is unclear. His works are still hugely famous today. The war began when Paris of Troy kidnapped the beautiful Helen. The Greeks besieged Troy for 10 years. In the end, they tricked the Trojans with a giant wooden horse. Whether it really happened is hard to say. Rules were written down in the polis to make things fairer. In Athens, a man named Draco made harsh laws. Even small mistakes were punished severely. Later, Solon made the laws milder. This was the beginning of the idea of justice. In Athens, people invented democracy, meaning the people could have a say. Men met in a public square and voted on laws, but women and slaves weren't allowed to join. It was a start, but not perfect. Sparta was completely different from Athens. Only strength and fighting mattered here. Boys were trained as soldiers from childhood. They lived tough lives without luxury and learned never to give up. Spartan warriors were feared everywhere. The Persians, a powerful people from the east, wanted to conquer Greece. In 490 before Christ, the Greeks defeated them at Marathon. A messenger ran to Athens to bring the news. That's where the Marathon run comes from. It was a huge victory. In 480 before Christ, 300 Spartans under King Leonidas fought a huge Persian army. They held them off at a narrow pass called Thermopylae. In the end, they lost, but their courage became legendary. It was a sacrifice for freedom. At the same time, the Greeks tricked the Persians at sea. Athens had fast ships and lured the Persians into a trap at Salamis. The Persians lost many ships and had to retreat. Greece remained free. After the Persian Wars, the Greeks rebuilt their cities. Athens became more beautiful than ever, with great temples and statues. The people were proud and felt strong. A time of ideas and art began. Under Pericles, Athens became the coolest city in the world. There was theater, philosophy, and huge buildings like the Parthenon. Artists and thinkers like Socrates came together. Everything seemed possible. Greek thinkers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle asked big questions. They wanted to know what justice, love, or life meant. Their ideas were written down and still influence us today. They were like the first scientists. The Greeks loved plays with sad or funny stories. In large open-air theaters, thousands of people watched. Writers like Sophocles wrote dramas about gods and people. It was entertainment and reflection at once. Athens and Sparta argued over who should lead Greece. The war lasted almost 30 years, from 431 to 404 before Christ. In the end, Sparta won, but everyone was exhausted. Greece became weaker because of the conflict. In 356 before Christ, Alexander was born in Macedonia. His father was King Philip, who united Greece. Alexander learned from Aristotle and dreamed of great adventures. He would go on to change the world. After his father's death, Alexander became king and set off. He defeated the Persians, Egyptians, and even lands as far as India. Everywhere he founded cities like Alexandria in Egypt. He died at 32, but his empire was vast. After Alexander's death, his generals divided the empire. This was the Hellenistic age, full of Greek culture everywhere. Science, art, and trade flourished, but Greece itself slowly grew weaker. During this time, Greeks like Archimedes made amazing discoveries. He invented machines and figured out how things float in water. Others counted stars or measured the earth. Their ideas were brilliant. The Romans, a strong people from Italy, looked toward Greece. They liked Greek culture but wanted power. Slowly, they took over more and more Greek cities. Greece couldn't resist. In 146 before Christ, the Romans destroyed the city of Corinth as a warning. That was the end of the free Greek polis. Greece became part of the Roman Empire. The Greeks lost their independence. Even under the Romans, Greek culture remained important. The Romans adopted the Greek gods, art, and ideas. Theaters, temples, and books were preserved. Greece shaped the world forever. Not all Greeks were rich or free. Many were slaves. They worked in fields, homes, or mines. Women also had fewer rights than men. Life was hard for many. The Greeks loved sports and started the Olympic Games in Olympia. Every 4 years, athletes came to run, throw, or fight. Winners received an olive wreath and fame. It was a festival for everyone. The Greeks invented an alphabet that we still use today. Words like democracy or philosophy come from them. Their language spread through Alexander's empire. It helped preserve and share ideas. Ancient Greece is long gone, but we still feel its presence. Our politics, art, and science have roots there. The stories of heroes and gods live on. Greece truly shaped the world.